Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a great day. It is April 8th, and today I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about tomorrow's severe weather uh, event. Tomorrow is actually looking like we'll likely see a severe weather outbreak tomorrow. Uh, Tomorrow looks like a pretty significant severe weather event in the south. As you guys can see, this is the SPC outlook for tomorrow. We have an enhanced risk extending from southeastern Oklahoma all the way into western Alabama. Damaging winds, large hail, is some extreme sized hail potentially, and even a few tornadoes are possible, and maybe even several tornadoes. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're also going to see what could happen after that, or what could happen as we get into this weekend, and maybe look at the pattern for severe weather next week. So let's get started. So, like I said, this is our severe weather outlook, or convective day 2 convective outlook from the SPC. This is for tomorrow. We have our enhanced risk going from southeastern Oklahoma to Alabama. Cities in this is Jackson, Mississippi, Shreveport, Monroe. And that's pretty much it. Maybe Little Rock is in the slight risk. And we can see so we're going to be watching a pretty large area for severe weather tomorrow. We have a 5% tornado risk. We did have a 10%. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we did. 30% wind, and a 30 sig hail. Hail and wind look like significant risks. So yeah, let's get started. So this is the HRRR for tomorrow, or well, this is for tonight, but we can see this is tomorrow, kind of early afternoon. We have our low around the Texas-Oklahoma border. Not a lot of convection or any kind of like rain showers, or just really not a lot of precip. During this is 18Z on Friday. Not a whole lot of activity. We do have storms in Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. Those are mainly just general thunderstorms of kind of a marginal severe weather risk. And we can see this is our low that brought severe weather today and yesterday. That is swinging up into Canada. Maybe even some isolated snow showers in areas of northern Nebraska, southern South Dakota, of this next little cold blast. And yeah, so everything is coming together for a decent severe weather event. Just take a sounding. This is not going to be a good sounding, most likely. We can see a few things to note, though, is the extreme lapse rates, really good instability, and also a thing that's going to limit convection at this time, a reason we don't already have storms going off. Or that reason is because of the capping. We can see we have negative 280 CIN H. So that's kind of a high number. This cap, that's not gonna break. That's gonna have you're gonna have to have the chances of that breaking are gonna be really low. But as we go into that's actually gonna kind of be good, because that's gonna kind of bring the chance of more severe weather, because we're not gonna have any rain or storms fire up earlier in the afternoon. The event's going to hold off until later in the day. So that can kind of help storms out a little bit. And we actually go to CIN real quick. We can go to mixed layer CIN and see when that cap really fades away. So we can see tomorrow we have extreme capping in Texas, but then it goes away. It doesn't fully go away, but around 00Z, which is around 7 p.m. You can see not a lot of capping, all the way from Arkansas down into Texas and down into Mississippi and Louisiana. Not a whole lot of capping. So that's kind of interesting. We go back to composite, or actually we're going to go to this reflectivity here, because it shows UH. So we can see Friday at around 22Z, the HRRR indicates storms, maybe severe storms in Oklahoma, into southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and then that forms a really strong line with large hail, maybe even an embedded tornado. And I'm watching out for maybe some significant winds once this gets into Arkansas, Mississippi, maybe Alabama and Tennessee also. If this happens like the HRRR, let's just take a sounding for this. This is Saturday early morning. This is like before sunrise. This is still after dark. It's going to be nighttime during this. Yeah, we can see this is 8Z, which 8Z is around, that's around 3 a.m. We can see this is an impressive sounding for, this is an impressive sounding, even maybe for tornadoes. The problem is we're not going to have the right type of storm. It's looking like it's going to be mainly linear, but this sounding would favor maybe some supercells. We can see, look at that Hodo shape. That's nice. Very nice Hodo. We have very nice low-level shear. And it is a little bit capped, but that's kind of expected because this is after dark. The hail threat by this time is going to start to go down. We don't have extreme instability anymore. We still have plenty of instability though. We still have 1,000 or 2,000 cape. But we don't have the extreme lapse rates anymore. But hail will still be a problem. We're not going to be looking at really giant, or the chance of giant hail like we got further to the west. That's overnight now. I want to zoom in this area. We're gonna take some soundings in Texas, and we're gonna move from west to east. So we can see HRRR indicates storms in Oklahoma going off on 21Z. It's around 3 to 4 p.m. Let's take a sounding right here in eastern Oklahoma. That's not a tornado sounding at all. That's terrible for tornadoes. We have plenty of instability. This is going to favor large hail, and definitely large hail, and damaging winds, of course. Not as much of tornadoes. The chance of getting a tornado out of that sounding is pretty low. It's not a great tornado sounding. Once again, this is pretty terrible for tornadoes, but great for large hail. Or not great for large hail, but this would support some hail and gusty winds. Once again, so yeah, we can take a sounding even in southern Missouri here, where we have this linear segment moving north. A little bit better. That's still pretty terrible though. We have around 1,500 cape. Still decent lapse rate. Still a damaging wind threat. And a hail threat once again. In southern Missouri tomorrow. And then the HRRR indicates a very strong line moving to the southeast. Take a sounding of this. This might be contaminated. Nope. We can see this sounding would potentially support some tornadoes. Low-level shear is really good. We can kind of see that in the Hodo right there. Now, not the best Hodo I've ever seen once again, but that's not bad. This sounding doesn't look great for tornadoes, though. We can see 61-degree dew point. We're going to have plenty of moisture tomorrow. Very moist air mass. And 2,000 cape. And this is a little bit after dark here. This is around 8 p.m. We go into 9 p.m. You can still see this line moving southeast. Let's take a sounding in western Arkansas. Alright, so kind of an interesting setup again. Once again, we have decent shear in the low levels. Plenty of instability, and this is really going to favor a damaging wind risk, as well as large hail and tornadoes. Once again, now this sounding looks decent for tornadoes. I don't think you're going to get an extremely violent tornado out of that sounding. But the chance is always there. Because this is just a forecast model, though. So what actually happens is, of course, going to be different. The sounding is a little bit further to the south. We can see kind of a similar sounding to what we just took. But still, once again, we have nice low-level shear. You can see winds veering with height. That's what we want to see. Critical angle 104. 3,000 cape almost. That's plenty of instability. Even after dark, we still keep that instability. And lapse rates are really good still. They're not really good, but pretty good for Arkansas in that area. So 04Z. This is around roughly 11. This is at night, keep in mind, not 11 a.m., 11 p.m. We can see we have not as great shear as we did before. This is not going to really support as much of a tornado risk, but we still have plenty of instability. Decent lapse rates down there. Let me scroll down. Decent lapse rates, and this is still going to support. You'll still have a risk of tornadoes with that sounding. It's not going to be as good as before, as the soundings I just took. As the previous sounding. So This is 07Z. You can see this line still moving to the southeast with large hail, damaging winds. And still, we're going to have that tornado threat. That Hodo looks pretty good. 3,000 Cape. This is at 07Z, though. That is around 2 a.m. 3,000 Cape at 2 a.m. That's good. We can see there's really not a whole lot is wrong with this sounding here. Only problem is we may not have the correct, or we may not have a supercellular storm mode. It might be a linear storm mode, so that could limit tornadic activity. But with these Hodos I'm getting, I'm thinking we could even have a chance of some supercells maybe in front of this. Those Hodos and the shear profiles would support that. Let's take a sounding in northern Louisiana. You can see once again we have decent shear. Not the best. The Hodo, no. Doesn't look too great. Still, we have plenty of instability. Instability looking pretty good, and we would still have a large hail threat. Damaging winds and hail will be the main threat that's sounding. I'm thinking the SPC might go moderate. If they do, I'm thinking it's going to be in this area right here. Maybe not that. Maybe not like that. I think it's going to be from maybe southern Arkansas down in the Mississippi. I see the SPC potentially putting in a moderate risk for tomorrow. Now you look at the actual SPC outlook. I think they're going to put it right there. It's kind of what I'm thinking. I have a feeling they're going to I have a feeling they're probably going to do a moderate risk for the day one convective outlook tomorrow morning. Or maybe not tomorrow morning. They could do it when they do the mid-afternoon or for some people it's the late morning update. They might go moderate. So yeah, now we move further to the east for Saturday here, because Saturday, once again, we talked about this in yesterday's video. Saturday looks like a big day also. So during the day, Friday in the southeast, we have a lot of pulse storms across Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama. And then in Florida, we may have some potential for some flooding on the western Florida panhandle. You can see storms just training over each other right there. Maybe even a few supercells tracking from Arkansas, Mississippi, and the Tennessee kind of in the afternoon on Friday, tomorrow. And then during the night, Friday night and the Saturday morning, we can see that line barreling into the southeast. Then once it gets into southeastern Georgia, or into southeastern Alabama and into Georgia, it does what every other line does. It weakens. Now, damaging winds would still be a threat in Georgia and southeastern Alabama, just not as significant as they are to the west. But we can see the ARRR indicates some very strong storms across southern Mississippi. I mean, like coastal Mississippi and coastal Alabama and the extreme western Florida panhandle. Take some soundings with these. It's going to be a little hard. Let's take one right here. See if this is contaminated. That's contaminated, but we're going to look at... no, we're going to get a new one. I'm trying to take it over land. Let's take one right here. All right, so we can see... This is a very moist sounding 70-degree dews. Not a whole lot of turning with the winds. This still once again looks mainly like a linear sounding. You could still have an embedded tornado with this though, and I'm thinking that's going to be the case Saturday. We go to actually Saturday afternoon. This is 18Z. This is as far as the HRRR goes out. That main line moves into the Gulf. We still have some strong storms in South Georgia and the Florida Panhandle, and maybe even still in southern Alabama or coastal Alabama and coastal Mississippi. Let's take a sounding in Georgia. And yeah, tornado risk with this is not looking great. But we do have plenty of instability for severe weather. Not really steep lapse rates. Just around 7. That's not really steep. Hail would smaller hail would be a threat with this. And once again, damaging winds look to be a threat with that. Not as much in the way of tornadoes. So Saturday is, I'm not going to say it's downtrended. I don't think it's downtrended. Saturday is just not looking to be a great day for tornadoes. This sounding once again not really good for tornadoes. Around 1,000 Cape, 65-degree dews, and the shear is just not that great. Lapse rates are okay, so maybe a small hail threat with this. But yeah, that's pretty much about that for Saturday. If they go enhanced, or likely, I think the SPC will go enhanced probably for this area. Maybe if they go enhanced, it could just be for this area, if they even go enhanced. Saturday doesn't look great. I don't think they're going to go enhanced in South Georgia, or maybe even southeastern Alabama. If they do, I don't think it. Well, this is still 3 days out. I don't think they're going to go enhanced for that area. Tornado threat just doesn't look good. And neither does the severe weather threat, to be honest. It doesn't look great. Now, of course, there's still going to be some isolated severe weather in South Georgia, maybe southeast Alabama also. Just doesn't look very widespread. So now this is the GFS here. We're going back to the GFS. Let's see what kind of pattern we have next week. Because we want to see kind of where we could see the chance for severe weather next week. So this is Monday. Not a great pattern for severe weather in the south of the plains at all. This doesn't look to be really good. And then we continue going. This is Wednesday. We started to have an interesting feature in the west here. This upper level low, kind of over Utah, Nevada, Idaho, that area. Now, if that moves to the east, like the GFS kind of shows, this is next weekend though. This is the 17th and the 18th. This is very far out. This is 10 days out. We could eventually have some severe weather across maybe the south and the southern plains. Now, even this is very far out though. This is April 18th. That is 10 days out. I mean, even this doesn't even look that good for the southern plains and the south. Just maybe a marginal or a slight risk. Maybe an enhanced if you have a decent setup at the surface. But it is something to watch. But overall, next week looks relatively calm. Now, I'm saying that I'm thinking we're still going to have severe weather next week. I'm not thinking we're going to have any tornado outbreaks or anything like that. Next week does look relatively calm, so that's a good thing. But yeah, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow, but yes, goodbye.